gonna say though, is that you cannot just join anything, being Rotary, being the Lions Club, being the Chamber, and expect something to come back to you
Exactly.
without you doing anything. You have to go to the mixers, you have to go to the lunches, you have to volunteer, become an ambassador, do something where people get to know you and you know, and don't try to push your business, you know, the first time you're talking to somebody. Just
Okay.
be friendly with them and let them get to know you, because again, I'll go back to people buy from people they like, you know,
And they trust too.
and that they trust. We are in Elk Grove and we're the number one dealership, Nissan dealership in all of Northern California. Why? People come from Reno to buy cars from us because
Wow.
because we treat them right, you know. And that's the point. You have to treat people right in order for it to come. You know, it's like life is a boomerang. Whatever you throw out there is going to come back.
Exactly.
You throw good things, it's going to be good with you. You throw bad things, it's going to be bad. But you have to get involved again in anything you can. Rotary, Lions Club, for veterans like myself, the American Legion. You know, there's groups for the Marine Corps League, and chambers are very important one for your business, because that's where you're going to meet other people that not only have the same mentality, but they have the same need that you do.
Exactly.
They want to do business also. And if you're not selfish and you know, you start referring people from your group and the chamber, again, it's a boomerang. People eventually are going to start referring people to you. And say, hey, you know what, go see Oscar, you know, he'll treat you right.
So pretty much what you're telling me is that when you join, there's two things that we're gonna point out here. When you first join Rotary or a Chamber of Commerce, it's not like you're gonna go say, hey, buy from me, hey, you know, pick my services. You actually gonna get involved and you're gonna let them know you. You're gonna let them know, see who you are. Because it's very important not only to make friends, right, at that capacity, but also for them to trust you. And going to the second point is that when how are the people gonna trust you? You said something very nice that I like. It says, you have to go to mixers, you have to go to lunches,
Yes, you
right?
do. Get
Okay.
involved.
Get involved. So how often do you recommend for people to do this? Let's say I'm a new member and okay, so what's your recommendation to me if I was a new member of the Chamber of Commerce or the Rotary Club?
Two things. The first one is go to as many events of the chamber as you can. Going back and repeating myself. Go to the mixers, go to the luncheons, go to any event they have. Chambers normally do events with SMUD and with PG&E, and
Okay.
so you go to all those. The second and the biggest mistake that we all make when we're first starting in this is that we go in and we spend 20, 30 minutes with one person. And those places, you have to go, it's like speed dating. You
Okay.
go in with a whole bunch of business cards, don't forget your business cards. And you ask everybody that you meet for a business card and you give them one of yours. And meet as many people as you can in the hour you're gonna be there.
Okay.
Meet 20, 30 people and get their business cards, and then the next day, start calling them and inviting them for a coffee or to come and visit them. And then meeting them one-on-one is a lot easier to get to know somebody.
I see. So we have to have a strategy.
Yes. you
We
do.
have to have a target, which means that every time we go to a mixer or every time we go to one of these lunches, okay, how many people am I supposed to meet today? We need to know what we're looking for. And one experience that I had actually at the Elk Grove Chamber of Commerce that I have not had anywhere else, and by the way, to me, it was a good experience, is that we were in this lunch, and I think you were the one who invited us, by the way, and thank you for that. But we were sitting in this lunch, and as soon as people started arriving, they sat on the same table. It was probably about 10, 15 of us, and they started connecting immediately. They did not lose 1 second to know who I was, to know who, you know, my business partner was, my husband, or the rest of the group. They gave me their card, and they asked me, so what do you do? They did not let anybody else introduce me. They wanted to know who I was. You know, I think I said, oh wow, aggressive. You know, because I've been in other events, and I have never experienced that. I liked it. I honestly liked it. But when you go to these events, you have to have a business strategy because the reason why you're there is to connect. The reason why you're there, you probably wearing a logo, and if they see that you have no aggressiveness, sometimes that doesn't help us. So tell me more about those events because I know you have a lot more experience than I do, and I think people need to hear this.
Yeah, again, you have to go in with the mentality. First of all, one thing I don't understand is when people come to these events and they don't bring business cards.
Okay.
You have to bring a whole bunch and have a stack in your car at all times also, just in case you run out. But when you get there, you just have to go out and talk to as many people as you can. Normally, like in our chamber, we have what we call membership 101, and this is some of the things we tell our new members in the first meeting that we have with them, is I tell them, you need to do this, you need to just meet people, and everything else will come along eventually.
So pretty much you're not allowed to be shy.
You
Because if you're
cannot
in
be shy,
business-
if not, that's why you hire a company like mine.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, that's very important to know. So if we are not able to put our brand out, we definitely need to look for companies like yours.
Exactly, companies that are gonna represent you well, and that they're gonna be in all these places.
Wow, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're always learning something new. Okay, so let me ask you something. Can you give us an example of the challenges that you have faced in the past in your business when you first started? Okay, because I know, I wouldn't be asking this now because I know you're very well known in the community. But when you first started, and this is for small businesses that are barely starting, they need to know, they need to hear from someone what challenges they face and how did you overcome them?
The main challenge, I guess, is to let people understand without selling them anything, that you're there to give them a service, or
Okay.
there to provide them something. The first mistake we make is to try to sell something in the first time we meet somebody, and that's a big mistake, because everybody tries to do that. What you need to do is let that person understand you, and understand where you're coming from, and that you're there to provide a service, and make sure that they're happy at the end of the deal.
Okay,
Because the best way of having customers come back and back is with referrals and repeat customers.
that's the best way of business, referrals.
The best way, and mouth to mouth is the best advertising, and it's the cheapest.
Exactly.
And you don't pay anything for that. And people believe that, and they come and at least give you a try. And
Okay,
you have to be consistent. You can't treat one person one way and another person the other way. You have to be consistent with everybody. And you have to serve it. I've gone through many challenges and not only in my business life, but in helping other businesses. There's many challenges. Helping other businesses, the main thing is that it's hard to make the owner or the general manager understand the path you're trying to take him through. Because they
Okay.
say, no, we've never done it that way. Well, that's
They're
why
old
you
school.
need to, exactly. But you have to do it in a nice way with nice soft gloves to make them understand that this is a new way. Give it a try. If it doesn't work in 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, then we'll go your way. But if they were looking for help, it's because they needed it. If not, a successful company like Apple and stuff, they're not gonna be looking for somebody to tell them how to do business, because
Right.
they're already successful. They're knocking on their door to buy their stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the reoccurring issues that I've seen in my career is that they have to understand where you're coming from and give you the opportunity, or give me the opportunity to prove to them that if I've done it before, I can do it for you too.
Connections, how do you keep connections? When you find the right connection, especially when you're among those professionals, and you want to put yourself, in a position that they wanna collaborate with you and you collaborate with them, how do you keep or make sure that there's transparency in that connection, so you won't lose the connection? Can you give me an example of what's happened to you in the past?
Yes, I can only speak for myself, but I'm a straight shooter, with me, there's not too many grays in my life. There's black and white, and I,
Right.
and I think that's my military background. I
I think so
do,
too.
I have respect for everybody. I know the chain of command, and I respect the chain of command. And I think I have really good work habits, but that comes from the military. And that's one thing that I try to push, especially in the Elk Grove community, is give a veteran a chance.
Mm-hmm,
They come with skills already.
mm-hmm.
Give them a chance. A lot of people, uh, don't think, a veteran, he's a little damaged, and
Not
give them a chance.
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Mhm.
A veteran comes with experience, knows respect, knows the chain of command, and it's going to help you in your company. Besides,
Okay.
you get a tax break if you hire a veteran.
Right. And I was gonna ask you that, does the community have grace for veterans? And I'm sure you can answer, you already advocate of veterans because you've been there yourself, but do you see that there's more grace, or do you really have to remember or remind everybody, hey, they did something for our country, let's give them a chance? You already said that, but do you really have to do that in the community?
Yes and no. I mean, it's just like anything else, it's at the beginning, it's a little hard, but then it starts spreading because, again, they go, hey, I hired this guy, he served in Iraq, and he's a good guy. So the other guy, when he gets something, and he gets a resume interviewing somebody, and he sees that he's a veteran, he's going to think of what his friend told him, and it's just a little chain, and it goes.
I see.
Yeah.
What are the community concerns? Let's talk about the Chamber of Commerce concerns when it comes to the community. What are they doing to improve themselves, to help more businesses, especially the ones that are starting?
Uh, We have joined a group of chambers. There's 6 chambers locally in the Oak Grove region area. And as a force, we're trying to get to the capital and change some things that hurt small business mostly.
Okay,
Because the big business, well, they have a little bit more cushion, but Assemblyman Cooper is trying to put a law right now that, for this, right now, if somebody gets caught and he steals under $1,000, $995, an next store, let's say Walmart, just to say a name, they give him a ticket. Because the jails are so full that if it's not more than $1,000, all they get is a ticket.
okay,
They go the same day, they can go to Costco and steal under $1,000 the same day, and they get a ticket.
wow.
Assemblyman Cooper is trying to change that.
Mm-hmm,
And
okay,
he's trying to put that no matter what, it's a crime. This, of course, Walmart, Costco, yes, it's, it's it's $900 and it's gonna hurt him. But can you imagine to a small business, a restaurant or a clothing store,
mm-hmm,
that could be the week's
mm-hmm,
profit.
right,
So to a small business, it's even worse. So I think we need to get a little bit more involved to see what's happening at the Capitol. And as business owners, as chambers and business owners, any organization that you belong to, and talk to our assembly people
okay,
and make sure that they see where we're hurting and what we need.
right, especially, small businesses that start with, business loans.
Yeah.
Which I'm very against with, because I'm a business owner and I tried different many things before I became a tax professional. Honestly, when you start with somebody else's capital, it's not the best thing to do, and it doesn't always work right. So if you're talking about business starters and going through all this, unnecessary penalties or tickets, then that means that we're really not wishing them to be successful, right?
Yeah, we're kind of
We're kinda
putting something
yeah.
against the door so they don't come
Right,
in, yeah.
Exactly,
Uh,
okay.
But by joining forces with the 6 chambers that we have right now, then we can compete against the lobbyists from the other side. Because you see, the people in the Capitol, they're there, but they don't live the day-to-day that we live in the business.
Mhm,
They only can hear about it if we go tell them about it.
mhm.
The lobbyist is talking to them in one year, we need to be the ones talking to them in the other year. So then they can make a wise decision and say, well, now I have everything, all the cards on the table, and I can this is the way it should be.
Understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Oscar, let's go to another short break, and when we come back, we will discuss why choosing the right Chamber of Commerce will help you promote your business brand. Don't forget to friend me on Facebook and like our page, BB Tax and Finance Group. We will be right back. Thank you. How are we doing?